Hi everyone, welcome to my brand new course on Git and GitHub. This course is very special for me because this is the very first course that I am creating in online. So today in this course I have broken down the concepts of Git and GitHub in 4 equal episodes. And the great thing about this is I have covered all these episodes in less than 60 minutes and I tried my best to explain every concept in an easy manner and I hope every one of you like this course. So I'm very happy. So let's without wasting time let's get started with our episode 1. This is the first episode of our course series, and these are the contents we're gonna see today. What and why Git and GitHub, and the required installations to work with Git and GitHub. So, with that said, let's get started. So now we are in my whiteboard, guys. Here we're going to learn about Git. I have a best example to teach you about Git. So let's see. This is a project we doing in our computer. In the first day, we write some amounts of code to it. So we can say it as a version 1. Then we coming back again second day and we are trying to bring much more features to our project. So, which means we writing more codes to it, so we can say it as a version 2. Our project got upgraded from version 1 to version 2. Then in order to upgrade our project from version 2 to version 3, we need to bring much more features to it, right? Then only we can say it as a version 3. But after creating the version 3, we just realized that the version 3 is not good as expected. So we thinking that we need to jump back to the version 2 because the version 2 is pretty better compared to the version 3. So how can we do that? We can do that with the help of Git. So here's what Git comes in. So from here now we can see clearly that Git is tracking the changes that we made to our project. That's why it lets us to come back to version 2 from version 3 very easily. Then from version 2 we can again focus on building the version 3. So yeah, this is how Git works. So this is why we are using the Git. So now we understood what is Git very clearly. Therefore, we can say that Git is a open source software tool. We can install this in our computer, and with the help of this, we can do version controlling of our project. Now it's time to learn what is GitHub. So see this, it is GitHub. GitHub is nothing but an online platform for developers. So after logging into the GitHub platform, we could able to create many repositories like this. Repository is nothing but a folder in computer where we store files. No, like that in GitHub's repository, we store our coding projects. Okay, as of now, keep this in mind. So in one side we have a GitHub, and another side we have a Git that installed in our computer. Then, with the help of Git, as usual, we track the versions of our project and use the Git. So now we have Git in one side and GitHub in another side. Then what is the relation between them? Now see, I am putting my project into the repository that I have created in the GitHub, which means we are putting our project in online so that apart from me, any other users who are in GitHub could able to see my project and access it. So now Git is a software that is installed in our computer, and GitHub is an online platform where we can able to put our project codes in it. So now see the scenario. Another computer is there that is used by my friend who also wanted to work with me on the same project. So I put my project in GitHub no. So from that GitHub he could able to copy my project into his computer, and he also installed Git in his computer. So with the help of Git he could able to work with me in the same project. So this is how we use Git and GitHub together. Therefore, we can say that GitHub is a web-based platform for developers. They can create, share, and manage their codes. Then also with the help of Git, GitHub lets us to control the versions of the code and enable smooth collaboration. Now we are in the final part of our episode. Here I will show you what are the things we need to install. So first let's search Git in the browser and click the first link. Here I can see download for Windows. I am clicking this option now. Then after clicking that option, it takes me to this page. So here I can see click here to download. I am clicking this now. Yeah, Git is getting installing in my computer. So in the meanwhile time, let's search GitHub and go to the GitHub platform and let's create one account for us. and the homepage of the GitHub looks like this. And successfully we have created the GitHub account, and from the right side we could able to see our profile. And as I mentioned earlier, here in this platform only we will be creating the repositories, storing our codes, and doing collaboration, and we do lots and lots of things. I will cover everything one by one in the upcoming episodes. Now Git is also installed in our computer. Now let's click this and it shows the installation window. As I was already installed Git in my computer, so I am clicking cancel for now. And if you want to install, click the install option and install it. Now we came to the end of episode 1 of this Git and GitHub course series. Today we learnt about what is Git and GitHub and why we are using it. Also we seen what are the things we need to install to work with Git and GitHub. Welcome back everyone. This is episode 2 of our brand new Git and GitHub course series. If you haven't watched our first episode, its link is given in the description. Please go and watch that before watching this video. So let's see what are the things we gonna see today. These are the things we gonna see today. First of all, I will explain you how Git works actually. In last episode, we have seen what is Git and why we are using Git. But now we gonna see in depth how Git actually works. So then after that, I will show you how to create the repository in GitHub. Then after that, we do a project setup in our computer so that we can use Git in that project. So let's get started. So now I am here in my whiteboard. Here I going to explain you how the Git actually works. So before that, let's see. We are creating a file in a computer and we putting some data in it. And in order to save this, we use Control plus S or we use the save option from the file menu. But when it's come to Git, we save the file entered in different manner. That's why we could able to achieve the version controlling. Okay, now see here, this yellow color box denotes the folder that we created in our computer. Inside the folder, what we can do, we can create a file and write code in it and we can do save. This is what I talked about previously. So also I mentioned this as a working folder because we are working inside this folder. Okay, now to track the version of the particular project which was in the working folder, we should not let the project to stay in the working folder itself. We need to add the folder, add the project into the staging area. For that, we need to write one command in the terminal. So it is a command prompt in Windows. Here we write some commands and get and achieve something, right? So likewise, there are Git specific commands are there. See here, this add and commit are Git specific commands. So now we can use this add command and we can move all the files which are in the working directory to the staging area. So after moving to the staging area, we can say that the files which are in the staging area will be tracked, which means its version is controlled. Also, we can say that the files which are in the working folder whose version is not controlled. So in order to control their version, we need to use add command in the terminal and we have to add those files in the staging area. Then after adding those files in the staging area, we have to use the command called commit. This commit means save. So we have to save the file. After saving the file only we can say that one current version of our project is saved. And also this save in local repository I have mentioned, no, this is not the repository that we see in GitHub. That GitHub's repository and this repository is entirely different. This save in local repository means we are saving our project inside the folder that is in our computer. That's it. So in order to push this code from local repository to the repository that is in GitHub, we need to use one command called push. So after executing this command, we can push all our codes from local repository to the GitHub's repository. And this is how the entire Git works. I know you confused quite a bit. So let me recall once again. First, inside the working folder, we have a project. Then in order to save the project, we need to first put them into the staging area. For that, we use add command. Then in order to save them, we use commit command. Then after committing, if we made any changes, we need to repeat the first two steps again, adding and committing. That's it. And guys, don't worry too much on knowing the internal working of the Git. So let's just focus on the important practical parts. So let me tell you what now we're gonna do. Now we're gonna create our first ever repository in the GitHub, and after that we set up a project in our computer so that we can use Git on it. So let's go. Okay, now I am in my GitHub account, and here I will show you how to create a repository. So for this, first click this plus icon, and after that new repository. Then this page appears. Here we need to give the repository name, and by default they have marked it as a public repository. We can keep as it is. Then after that, if we need a description to give it to our repository, we can able to give that also. Okay, now I am named it as a sample repo and giving some sample description. Okay, if you want readme file, then we can click the checkbox. Okay, now after clicking the create repository icon, our repository got successfully created. This is how the repository look like. So yeah, here also we could able to see our repository. Yes, this is how we need to create the repository in GitHub. Now let me close this window. In order to do project setup, first we need a folder. So for that I have created a folder called git course in my desktop. Then we need one code editor. For that I had a Visual Studio code editor. So let me open that now. Then inside this we need to open our working directory that I have mentioned previously. No, it is git course. So now I am opening that. I have opened it now. Then after that open your terminal. So listen carefully guys. Now we going to execute two commands in the terminal. These two are very very important. Also I would say that we will execute these commands only once, so just follow me. So git config double hyphen global username. After that we need to mention our username that is in the github, or we could able to mention our personal name itself, no problem for the name. So let me mention the same name what I have mentioned in my github. So I have mentioned it as id1. Then one more command is there. That command also looks like this command only. So that is git config hyphen hyphen global user dot email. Then after that giving, let's give a space and we need to enter the email id that we have used to log in into our github account. No excuses, we need to mention the email account that we used to log in for github. So now I'm mentioning the email account. Also guys, the purpose of these two configuration commands is to, we are saying to the git that we are doing these git operations by using this name and this id. Okay, now we almost done. Let's clean this terminal, and one more command is remaining. Let me write that. It is git init, which means git initialization. We are initializing the git into the this working directory git course. So after executing the command, it says that it initializes the git repository particularly in this directory. So it means that when after using this git init command only, we could able to track the versions of our projects whenever whatever we do in this particular repository. So as they mentioned, we would have .git repository that is inside this folder, but inside this vs code I couldn't able to see that, but in file explorer I can able to see the .git folder. So no need to go much more deeper in this folder. So just remember that this .git folder only controls the versions of our project that we do in the git course folder. And that's it guys, we set up the project to work with git. So yeah, now you have successfully completed the episode 2. Today we learned how to do project setup to work with git. Then after that we done how to create our first ever repository in github. Then after that we understood how the git works entirely, like adding into the staging area and committing, etc. Yeah. Okay, and these are the comments we covered in this video. So if you want, take a screenshot of this and keep practicing this. In next episode onwards, we will be working in a project. So it will be much more interesting, guys. So stay tuned. Thank you very much. Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 3 of our Git and GitHub course series. If you haven't watched the previous two episodes, please go watch that and come here, because this episode is the continuation of the previous two episodes. I have given those two episodes link in the description. Okay, and these are the contents we gonna see in today's episode. I split this episode in three equal parts. In first part of this episode, we will learn about how to do version controlling of our project. Then after that, in second part of this episode, I will show you how to push the version controlled project into GitHub. Then after that, we will learn some important Git commands so that we could execute those commands in the terminal. So this is what we gonna see today. This video will be very interesting guys, so let's go. Okay everyone, up to this we have seen in the last episode. So let me close this window. You can just see in the terminal I just put git init command. So we just done the project setup to work with git and github. So now let's start creating a project. For that I am creating one file named story.txt. It is just a text file where we write some text documents. So for this episode, we will writing some story in it, and we try to track the version of the story we write. The reason why I am not doing any coding and tracking its version is because I want to teach this Git and GitHub course in very interesting manner, so that I like it to write some story, and I will show you how to track how we are tracking the version of the story, so that it will be very easy to understand by you and you never forget this concept hereafter. So that's why I thought to teach like this. So yeah, so let's write something here. So let's write a simple story. It will be like, once upon a time there is a coder who started learning Git. Then after that we could able to see here that the name of the file becomes green and it shows that it is untracked. Before talking about this untracked concept, I like to write one command here. It is git status. It is one of the very important command. When we write this command, it shows some information about the current scenario. So it says that we have one file in our project, that is story.txt, but that file is untracked, which means we are not tracking the version of the project. So whatever files which are in untracked stage, we are not tracking their version. So in order to track their version, it is saying that we need to put git add command to track the version. So let me write git add command now. We need to write git add, and we need to leave one space, and then we need to write the name of the file. Then after executing this command, we can guarantee that our file's version will be tracked. It will be added to the staging area. Now the last and final step is we need to save the current version. For that we need to execute git commit command. For this the syntax would be git commit -m, then we need to mention one message for the commit. So we can mention it as a version 1 beginning of the story. And after that let me write git status command again. Now we see the status of this current scenario is on branch master, nothing to commit, working tree is clean, which means everything is alright only. But what is this branch concept? The git is keep on repeating this branch word, right? So now let me explain what is branch. Basically, to track the version of our project, Git and GitHub gives us one branch. The name of the branch can be said as main branch or master branch. That can be called in those two names. So in the main branch, we keep on working on our project from version 1, version 2, version 3. For example, we worked up to the version 3. So we write everything in the main branch only. So if we need to try any new feature in our project, we could able to create some other branch with some other name. So when we do that, though those all three versions in the main branch will get reflected to the new branch, then we can work on the new branch further. So if the new branch satisfied us, we can merge all the codes in the new branch to the main branch, and then we can again further improve the main branch. So if this concept seems confusing to you, so don't consider this concept now, guys. This is an advanced concept and we see this concept in the upcoming episodes. So as of now, don't consider more about this concept. Just know we have one branch, we working on it. So in this video we only focusing on the one branch only. We not creating any branch at all. Okay, so just focus on this. Now let's learn one more important git command. It is git log. When we put this command, it it is one of the very super command in GitHub. So it shows the entire detail of each and every commits we done, which means each and every versions we have tracked with with their commit id, author id, and date, and the commit message we have given to the particular version. So now let's upgrade this project to the further versions. So as of now first version is done, right? So let's do some modifications in our version 1, and we can say it as version 2 is done. Then let's commit the version 2 and let's put the git log command again to see what it shows. So now we done everything. So we put git add command first, then after that we are doing git commit command. In that git commit command we are saying that version 2 celebrating the first commit. So let's hit the enter. Now successfully we saved the two versions of our project. Now let's put the git log command once again. Okay everyone, now git log command gives us the each and every versions that we made, and it is giving the entire detail of each and every versions. So this is why we use git log command. Okay, let's see. Now I am in my GitHub profile, and here I have created one repository in the name sample repo. I shown you these concepts in previous episode. Now what we going to do is we going to push our project into this repository. Now this repository contains only one file, readme.md, right? So now we going to push our story.txt file into this repository. So for that we need to execute one command before. So let me write this command. So please just follow me. The command is git remote add origin. Then after that we need to paste the link of this repository. and we can get the repositories URL from many ways. So the first way would be we can just directly copy from this URL tab, or we can click this green color code option, and inside this code option also we can able to get the repositories link. So anyway, so let me paste this link here and let's hit enter. Okay, it's done. And also I would say that this git remote add origin command is just a one time command. We need to put this command only once. Okay, so just remember this. Then the next command is very important, that is git push command. If we put this git push origin main, this command, then it pushes all the files in our VS code into our GitHub repository. So after entering this command we face some error. I know the reason for this command. So previously I mentioned that the git says the main branch name as both main and master, right? So by default our git says that the main branch name is master, but GitHub says the main branch name is main itself. That's why when we put git push origin main command, it is saying that there is nothing called main. So let's put the command git branch. If we put this git branch command, we could able to know that the current working branch, currently we are in the master branch, so we need to change the name of this master branch into main. So then we can put git push origin main command. So after we put git push origin main, after changing the master branch name into main, then we can, without any error, we can push our codes to the GitHub. So in order to avoid this conflict, let's change the name of the master into main. Why? Because the GitHub has the main branch name as main, but git by default it given us the main branch name as master. So the command is this: git branch hyphen m, put the replacing name, I put main. So now after entering that command, let's run the git branch command again. It says that we are currently in the main branch. Now let's do log, and here also we could able to see that head, it is currently pointing to the main branch. So currently we are in the main branch. So double verification is done. So now let use the push command again. Let me put git push origin main. It's taking some time. Okay, it's success this time, guys. It is asking us to do sign in. So this is also one time process, guys. Whenever we do push for the very first time, git asks us to do sign in. It is like just some simple authorization process only. So let's click this authorize git ecosystem. So yeah, we done. So now let's close this tab and let's go to the VS code and see the terminal. So our project is properly pushed or not. So let's see that. Oh no, again our code is not pushed to the GitHub. So, but this time it's not a error, guys. Git is saying us important lesson to us. It is one of the very important lesson. What it is saying is, before pushing something to the GitHub, make sure that each and every files that are in the GitHub is currently available with us. So our GitHub's repository contains one README file, right? But we don't have the README file here. So we need to pull the README file from the GitHub before pushing all our project. So now I entered one command, guys. So that is git pull origin main hyphen allow unrelated histories. So after entering this command, we could able to see that readme file is currently in our project. Now we can put git push command. So you can write this git pull origin main command like this also, or otherwise just write git pull origin main. Okay. Then now I am put at the command git push origin main. After putting this command, it's success this time. So now we came to the GitHub repository. Let's refresh this tab once again. Okay everyone, now we can able to see that our story.txt file came here. It is staying along with the readme.md file. Now here we could able to see that totally 5 commits has happened. So when we click that, we could able to see how many versions are currently tracked. So version 1 beginning of the story, version 2 celebrating the first commit. Okay guys, then specifically we can click each and every commit messages, and after clicking that we see this tab. So in this tab we can see that what are the changes we done in the file. So now let me click the version 2 again. So here it says that from version 1 to version 2 what are the things we changed. So the red color line indicates that that is a version 1, and the green color thing indicates that that is a version 2. And that is it, my dear friends. This is how we work with Git and GitHub. So before ending this episode too, I like to um, revise you all the concepts that we learned till now. Now I going to implement what are the concepts we learned till now. So for that, I came to the VS Code again, and let's update this README file and we try to push push the changes, push the current version to the GitHub repository. So let's do that. So for that I am updating this readme file like this. This repository contains the files that I do created while I was practicing Git. Okay, now let's put all the things that we learned till now. So first comment is git status. So this comment says the current status of our project. So it says that we modified the readme file. We need to add and commit this. So for that, let's put git add comment, git add readme.md. Now what is the next step? Next step is we need to commit. So for that the command is git commit hyphen m, then after that we need to put the commit message. So git commit hyphen m, then the commit message would be what we done now. We done updating the readme file. So let me write the commit messages update readme. Then what is the next step? We need to push everything to GitHub. So for that the command is git push origin main. So let's enter. Okay, everything is fine, which means we pushed our current version to the GitHub. So let's go to the GitHub and let's see our README file is changed or not. Yes, it is changed, but I am not refreshed this page, so it is not showing that the current version. So let's refresh this page. So after refreshing this page, we could able to see that the updated version of the README file. Okay, everyone, we came to the end of the episode 3, and I would say that with the help of these 3 episodes, we can confidently work on any Git project. Okay, anyway, let's see much more concepts in the next episode. And these are the comments we learned today, guys. Totally, we learned entirely 8 commands in the past 13 minutes. It's a big thing, guys. Keep going. Also, if you want these comments, you can generously take a screenshot of this page and you can keep practicing. So, it's time to end this lecture, guys. Thank you very much. Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 4 of our Git and GitHub course series. It is a very interesting episode. In this episode, we're gonna be learning totally 6 concepts in next 20 minutes. So they are: first we will be learning about cloning, then after that branching, then after that we will be learning about merging the branch, then fourthly we will be learning about pull requests, then we will be learning about how to resolve the merge conflict, then finally I will be giving some introduction in order to start the team collaborations with the help of Git and GitHub. Okay, now let's learn about Git clone. I think it is better to explain git clone by comparing it with git init, because git init and git clone both were similar, but previously we learned about git init already. So now we're gonna learn about git clone. So before learning that, we need to know these two cases. So the case number 1 and case number 2. The case number 1 is taking copy of an empty repo to the local computer, and case number 2 is taking copy of an repo with some project to the local computer. It means we will be creating one repository, empty repository in GitHub, and we will be taking copy of that repository into our computer and we start doing the project. So that is the case 1. And in the case 2, it means that the repo with some already existing project. So we will be taking copy of that to our computer and we will be continue working with that particular project. So that is the case 2. So previously we practiced the git init command. So here we gonna learn git init and git clone command, right? So the git init command satisfies the case 1, but the git clone command satisfies both the cases, case 1 and case 2. So we will be using git init command if there is a case 1, and we will be using git clone command when there is either case 1 or case 2. Now I know many of you may feel difficult to understand what I am saying now. It is very simple. The case 1 generally means that we are starting a project. So if we were starting a project, then we will be having the empty repo, right? So that is the case 1. Then the case 2 means there is any existing project, particularly in a repository. So we wanted to continue from the project. So the git init command is used one and only when we are starting a new project. But git clone command used in both the cases when we are starting a new project as well as when we wanted to work in an existing project. Okay, now let's understand the workflow of these two commands. So first let's see about git init. So whenever we need to take a copy of an empty repository that is in the GitHub to our computer, we will be executing these two commands, git init as well as git remote add origin. So we have discussed about these previously, and then after using this git initialization command, then we will be doing some projects and we will be tracking the version of the particular project. So this is what we have learned previously, but today we are going to learn git clone today. So git clone is very similar to git init. So for using git clone, we just need to execute this command git clone. So very simple, it works very similar to git init, but the main difference is git clone satisfies the two cases that we have learned before, but git init satisfies only the case number one. So git clone satisfies the case number one as well as case number two. So it is the main difference, but most of the time I prefer using git clone. So yes, today we will be practically learning about git clone. Now before that, let's theoretically learn something about branching and merging concept. So see, this is the repository that we have created in our GitHub now. So by default, Git gives us one branch called main branch. Its name is the main branch, and here at this particular branch only we will be start working with our project. So first, I will be showing like how to create another new branch apart from the main branch. Then we will be learning about how do we merge the new branch into the main branch. So that is the main concept. So we will be learning that. So for example, let's say in the particular main branch we are creating a file called A. Then after that we are creating one more file called B. So we created these two files in the main branch. Okay, now at this moment I am planning to create a new branch and I need to test a new feature for our project. So if I create a new branch, it takes the copy of the file A and file B to there at the particular new branch, and we can start working from the new branch. So at the new branch I am creating new feature called C. Then after creating C, I am creating one more new feature called D. So after testing this, I came to know that this feature C and feature D are very useful. So I think at this moment I need to merge this new branch into the main branch. So for that I need to execute one git command. So if I do so, so it will be successfully merging the new branch into our main branch, which means the file C and D will get reflected in the main branch as well. Then after that, if wanted, we can further develop the main branch and so on. Then at this moment we need to focus on this one thing called merge conflict. So during the time of merging a new branch into our main branch, we may face some conflicts. Now let's see, when do we get the thing called merge conflict. Merge conflict means it is nothing but the problem that we get during the time of merging a new branch into a main branch. So what had happened, so we created file A and B and we created a new branch, and where we have created file C and D, then we tried to merge the new branch into the main branch. So hence we successfully merged the new branch into the main branch without any problem, without any conflict. So now let's see when do the conflict particularly occurs. So the conflict occurs if and only if we try to make any changes in the file A or B in the main branch as well as in the A or B file in the new branch. So here we can clearly see we have made file C and D as a new files. So without any problem we can easily able to merge the file C and D. But if we do any changes in file A or B in both the branches, we will be getting conflict during the time of merging. So this is where the merge conflict occurs. So if I change something in A file in the main branch, at the same time I am changing something in the A file in the new branch. So after doing these two changes particularly in A files in both the branches, if I try to merge the new branch with the main branch, so at that time our git will get confused, like we need to keep which A file, whether the file which is in the main branch or the file which is in the new branch. So at that time the problem occurs. Okay everyone, now let's execute everything that we have learned. And now I came to my GitHub page and I'm creating a repository here. It is a new repository. I'm gonna be creating it with the name episode 4. Since it is episode 4, I am naming it as episode 4. I don't need any description and I don't need my repository to be public, and I'm making it as a private, and I need a readme file. Now let's click this create repository option. Now we have successfully created our repository. So now let's clone this repository. So now we need to take a copy of this repository into our computer. So for that we need to copy the URL of the repository, which is right over here. Now let's go back to the Visual Studio Code. So there are two ways to clone a repository. One is by using the terminal, and the another way is by using the dedicated option that is given by the VS Code. So here you can see clone git repository option in the VS Code itself. So here we need to paste the URL of the particular repository in order to clone it. Now I am going to show you the both the methods. So now let's clone this by using the VS Code. So before that, make sure that you have created one empty folder in your computer. So I have created an empty folder with the name git teach. So inside this folder only I am gonna be copying this particular repository. So okay, let's open the VS Code and click this clone repository option. Let's paste the URL. Now after pasting the URL, we need to select that empty folder. So it is git teach. Now I am selected the empty folder. Now it is successfully cloning our repository. Yes, now we successfully cloned our repository exactly. So yes, here you can see the name of the folder, that is episode 4. It is the name of our directory, which means we have successfully cloned it, and it is the same readme file that we are seeing in the GitHub as well. So now let's open the terminal and let's try to clone with the help of terminal. So with the help of terminal, we need to use the command called git clone. Okay, so before that, let's come back to the previous directory, which is git teach, and let's try to execute the command git clone. So git clone, and by giving a space we need to paste the URL, but after pasting it, it is saying that there is already we have cloned the repository, right? So it is saying that the directory is not empty. So let's create a new directory by using the command mkdir, and I'm creating the new directory, and inside the new directory I gonna be cloning the repository now. So now I'm executing the git clone command again. So now this time inside the new folder we could able to clone the repository. So let's go and check it out in the file explorer. So here we can see inside the git teach we have cloned the repository episode 4 by using the VS Code option. So that is what we are seeing this now, and here it is the new folder. Inside that new folder we have cloned our repository with the help of terminal, so by executing git clone command. So yes, now we have successfully cloned our repository 2 times. So now in order to avoid the confusion, let's delete the new folder. Okay, now let's walk inside this episode 4 directory. Okay, now let's come on guys, now let's try to execute the merging concept. Now I am creating one file which is a.txt. so inside that file I am going to write some content. So just for now I am writing it as file A, and I am creating one more file called b.txt, and inside b.txt I am writing as file B. Now let's checking the status of the git. So it is saying that 2 files were in untracked stage. So in order to track them we need to use command called git add. So I am used git add space dot. Then after that we need to save the changes. For that we need to use command called git commit -m. File a.txt and file b.txt are created. It is our commit message. Then after committing we need to push our changes to the GitHub. So for that we have executed git push command. So let's hit refresh. Yes, here we see we have created file A and B successfully. Yes, these are the commits. Now we can see that in GitHub we have totally one branch, so that is the default main branch. Now let's create a new branch. So for creating new branch we can use this option new branch, and then one more option is by using the terminal. So most of the time I prefer terminal for creating a new branch. So let's learn that. So for creating a new branch we need to use the command called git branch. Then after that we need to write the name of the particular new branch. So for simplicity I am naming the new branch as new branch itself. So it is the name of our new branch. Okay, so after executing this command we have successfully created our new branch. For that in order to check that we need to execute git branch command alone. So after executing this command we could able to see that we have totally 2 branches, main and new branch, but main branch is indicated in green color, which means we are currently in the main branch. So in order to switch to the new branch we need to use the command called git switch. So if you execute this we will be switching to the new branch. Okay, so you could clearly see that in order to create a new branch we have used one command called git branch and the name of the particular branch. So and then in order to switch to the new branch we have used one more command called git switch. And what if we do these 2 things in a single command? So here's what the git checkout command comes in. So the git checkout -b, and after following this we need to mention the name of the branch. So I am naming it as a new branch 2. So if we execute this command, what it does is it creates the branch and then it switches to the particular branch in the single command itself. So now let's check the status of the branch, git branch. So we can clearly see that we have created the new branch called new branch 2, and then we have directly switched to the new branch. Okay, fine. And then also in order to switch between multiple branches I said that we need to use the command called git switch, right? We could also use one more command, that is git checkout alone. Without -b, if we use the checkout command we will be able to switch between the branches. Now you can see that by using the git checkout command I switched to the main branch, and let's switch to the new branch by using the switch command. So we could use either switch command or checkout command, so that is our wish. So both of the commands helps us to switch between the branches. Now let's delete a branch. Now let's delete our third branch, that is new branch 2. So let's see what are all the branches we have: main, new branch and new branch 2. Let's delete a new branch. For that we need to use git branch -d command. So if you put hyphen d and followed by that if you put the name of the particular branch, Git deletes the particular branch. Okay, so now we have successfully deleted our branch called, that is new branch 2. Okay, fine. Now let's do some work in the new branch and let's try to merge the new branch into the main branch. So for that, let's create a file called c.txt and I'm writing some content as file c. So let's use git add and git commit. Now after that we will be merging this new branch into the main branch. I will be demonstrating that. So for that we could do that in two ways. One is by using the terminal and the another way is by using the GitHub. So most of the time I prefer by using the GitHub. So let me teach that. So now I switching to the main branch. So inside the main branch we couldn't able to see the file called c.txt because we haven't merged the new branch into the main branch yet. So now again switching back to the new branch we could able to see the file called c.txt. So now let's merge this branch. So before merging this branch we need to push this branch into our GitHub. So yes, as I said, we could able to use the command called git merge in the terminal in order to merge the new branch into the main branch, but most of the time I prefer using GitHub to merge the particular branch. So let's push this new branch. So now let's push all the codes that are, all the files that are in the new branch. Now we have successfully pushed our new branch. Then after opening the GitHub, it is showing us one new option which is compare and pull request. It means that it is asking us to compare our new branch with the main branch and create a pull request. It means that we are requesting the main branch to pull what are all the changes which are in the new branch into the main branch by comparing it with itself. So that is the meaning of this option. So if we click this we could able to see that by default it added a title, that is the commit message we have given into the particular commit message after creating the c.txt. So if we need any description we can mention that, and here it is showing that we have just created a new file that is c.txt. That's it. So these are the things we have done in the new branch, and let's click this option create pull request. Then after this option it automatically checks that, automatically compares our new branch with the main branch and says that is there any conflict or not. Now it is indicating that no conflict with the base branch, which means our new branch doesn't creating any problem with the main branch. So here in this page it is indicating that we are trying to merge one commit into the main branch from the new branch. So that commit is that we have created c.txt. So yes, here we could able to see that no conflict with the main branch. So let's click this option and let's merge our new branch into the main branch. And right over here if we need any commands let's mention that and let's comment that. So now I don't need, I'm just clicking the merge option. So yes, let's click confirm merge. Okay, after clicking this our GitHub will automatically merges our new branch into the main branch. So now let's open our repository page again and let's see whether we got c.txt or not. Yes, we got the c.txt. So we have successfully merged our new branch into our main branch. So that is what we could able to see here right now. So now here we can able to see that we have totally two branches, that is main branch and the new branch. Fine. Now let's learn about merge conflict. So in order to learn about merge conflict I gonna be creating one conflict by wantedly. So for that, so still we are in the new branch. So here let me create one more file called d.txt. So basically this d.txt don't create any conflict because as I mentioned earlier, if you do any new works in a new branch it doesn't create any conflict. So if you try to edit something in the existing files a or b or c, then only there may be the chance of getting conflicts. So okay, now I created a file d, no problem. So let's go one edit in any of these three files. So yes, now I am going to do some changes in file a in the new branch. So clearly see we are in the new branch and I am writing something from the new branch in the file a. So what I am writing is writing from the new branch. Okay, I think I don't want to delete this thing. Okay, anyway, so I made some modification in the file a. So still we are in the new branch. Okay, let's save the changes in this particular branch by using git add and the git commit command. Okay, now we saved the changes successfully. Now let's move on to the main branch. So inside the main branch we need to make some changes in the So before that, in the GitHub we have totally three files A, B, C, but in the VS Code we have only two files. So for that, in order to pull everything from the GitHub, we need to use the command called git pull. So let's pull out everything. Okay, now I successfully pulled out everything, so we could able to see that A, B and C files. So now here in this file we need to make some changes in the file A in order to create any conflict. Okay, let's write something in the A file, particularly in the main branch. So I am writing as writing from the main branch. Okay, so now we have made a change in the file A which is in the main branch, as well as the A file which is in the new branch. Okay, now I am saving the changes. So for that I have used git add and git commit command. Okay, now let's finally see what are all the contents in the file A, in the particular in the main branch. Okay, file A writing from the main branch. Okay, now let's switch back to the new branch. Okay, after switching back to the new branch, we could able to see here it has some different content which is file A and writing from the new branch. Okay, let's push the new branch into the GitHub first. Git push origin and then branch name. Okay, now we have pushed our new branch into the GitHub. Then okay, fine. Now let's switch back to the main branch and push the main branch as well. So then only we could able to create a conflict. Okay, so now I'm going to push all the codes to the main branch, sorry, from the main branch to the GitHub. Git push origin main. Okay, everyone, fine. Now we have successfully pushed our two of the branches to the GitHub. Since it is a main branch, we could able to clearly see the changes of the main branch exactly here. So writing from the main branch. Now we need to merge our new branch into the main branch. Let's see whether we creating the conflict or not. So now let's raise a pull request. So previously for raising a pull request, Git indicated one option in the repository page itself, but for the second time it don't show the option to raise the pull request. So we need to manually create a pull request by clicking this three dot option. So now let's raise the pull request again. So again by default it filled our commit message as the title. Now let's create a pull request. Okay, now Git checks whether we have any conflict with the main branch or not. And if you remember previously when we are coming to merge our new branch to main branch, it is said that no conflict with the base branch. I hope you remember that. So now it is comparing our new branch with the main branch. I don't know why it is taking this much of time. Now let's hit refresh on this page. Okay, fine. After hitting the refresh, it is saying that the branch has conflicts that must be resolved. It is indicating that we have one conflict with a.txt. So let's click this option and come in. So it is saying that we have a conflict. So every time the conflict will be mentioned in this particular way. So here we are resolving the conflict between new branch and the main branch. Here the multiple equal to sign indicates that above the equal to sign there are the contents of the new branch, and below the equal to sign there are the contents of the main branch. Okay, so we need to keep either the content from the new branch or the main branch, or we could able to keep the contents of the both branch. So that is our wish. So for that we need to remove these symbols. So first we need to remove those greater than and less than symbols, and then we need to remove these equal to symbols as well. So now we need to think whether either we need to keep the content from the new branch or the content from the main branch. So now I think I wanted to keep the contents from the both the branches. Okay, now fine, our conflict is resolved. So this is what resolving the conflict. Okay, now yes, we could able to commit the merge now. Okay, now Git checking whether we have any conflict with our main branch or not. Now we could able to clearly see that we have no conflict with the base branch. Okay, now we could able to successfully merge our new branch into the main branch. And yes, we have successfully merged our new branch into our main branch. Now we could see that we have d.txt, and inside the a.txt we have the contents from both the main branch and the new branch. Yes guys, this is the concept of merging. And guys, now we came to the final part of this episode. Now let's see how to start the collaboration. There are many ways to do collaboration, but I prefer one way. So now I'm talking about that now. So it is a project episode 4, and in this project we have totally 2 branches and 4 files ABCD. Now I need to call some of my friends to work with me on this particular project. How can I do that? So for that I need to click this settings option. So under the settings option we could able to see one option called collaborators. So inside the collaborators option, we could able to see one option called add people. So by clicking this option, we can invite the people to work with us in this project. Now let's search one name. So it's Pranav, it's my friend. So it is his ID. If I click add Pranav, so one notification will goes to his account. So if he accept that invitation, then he could able to work with us in this project. Then after accepting the invitation, what he need to do is he need to clone our repository into his computer, and then he need to start working with us. So this is how we need to start doing collaboration with our teammates. Then he can also do some codes and push, and he could also do whatever he needs. So this is how we need to do collaboration. Now let's recap what are the things we have learned in this particular episode. At first we learned about cloning by comparing it with Git init command. Then after that we learned about branching, like how to create, delete and work with the branches. Then we learned about how to merge the branches, and then we learned what are pull requests, and we learned about when does the conflict occur and how to resolve the conflict and merge the branch successfully. Then finally I have given some short introduction about how to start the team collaboration in GitHub. I think it may be the last episode of our core series. I don't know if I make any further episodes. I am not sure, but I will mention those episodes in our YouTube playlist if I prepare any in future. And someday I hope every one of you applying the concepts that you learned from me. For that I am really grateful and very happy. And if you really loved my course, please give a positive review about our course. That is all I need. Thanks.